house fall, room design, the crack is back. Hey, ooh, damn. That was hot stuff. Now I got to Alt-Tab, baby. Well, oh, what happened? Did it work? There's always this opening moment where I push the button and then I think it's working. Alt-Tab over. I don't know if it's working. Is it working? Is anybody out there? Anybody? I swear, every damn time. Okay, working on it here. Is it working yet? Hey, I think it's working. Hey, am I in here? What is happening? I think this is it. What? Something's wrong with my thing. Hey, bear with me now. Oh, okay, there I am. I think we got some people in the wrong room. So did you guys, was I singing and everything? Like, did that even happen? Was that even real? Okay. What's happening? The other channel, just hit refresh. Oh, okay. So, are we good? I got 14 people. Is that everybody? I just saw and heard no singing. Dude, I'm making malort. Yeah, so I think we're live. We're in HD. But I think a bunch of people are in the wrong room. Hang on a second. So how did you guys... There's another like stream thing happening. It's because I'm trying to do HD live and I'm all discombobulated. Now I'm double clicking. I know. Hang on. Hang in there, buddy. Okay, there's LA Jackson. Okay. LA will help shepherd the viewers from the wrong room into the right room. And we'll get the real stream going here because skill, man. Skill. Where did I begin? Yeah, what other room? Exactly. Oh, Gert, I know I made a thing, and then there was another thing, and it's hot in here, and I don't care. Escape from reality. Hang on, I'm still trying to shepherd them. So, hey, LA Jackson or someone, if you're in this room, the good room, could you go over to the other event there and post this link for them? because I have no idea how I just created two lanes in my racetrack. I don't care anymore because here we go. We're gonna go. Hey, whoa. How does it go? The crack is back. The crack is back. A room design with frostfall cause the crack is back. Hi. Rotating room design. Wow. Wow. It is 115 degrees up in here, which is insane because I live in the great noble Northwest, the Space Coast, and it does not get hot in April in the Space Coast. This is just a bad situation. Okay, I hope everybody is over from the false live stream. Yeah, they're trying to get the... Okay, and this is the actual live stream. One of them has a picture of the demonic force from the Keep as its thumbnail, and which is a fine film starring Jürgen Prochnow. And there is then this stream, which is a fracas, an online debacle of Dungeons and Dragons badassery. Greetings, programs. Welcome back to Drunkens and Dragons. It's another live stream because editing, woo, it's just not the same, man. This is where it's at. I'm going to do this for a little while. Lots of good writing happening lately, too. So those are the things I'm doing. Putting more energy into my group. Because sometimes, you know, you just got to focus on your group. I love my YouTube peeps, but, you know, they're more than 6 feet away. So it's hard for me to see that far. I'm the DM. I'm Hankering Fernale. Good to have you guys here. Welcome back. No silly instructional DM education going on tonight. We are just going to get down to content, right? Room design. That's where it's at. I'm going to rebuild my little gateway up here with these. Boop. Okay, what do we got? Well, a few months ago, I posted my crafting video about making ice terrain, right? I made the whole set all in one go over Christmas break, which was apropos. But it took months to really get my group into the thick of the actual adventure content that was going to use the ice set. And we just did it last Saturday, not this last one, but the one before that. We did a whole night of Frostfall. We had done a little bit of a preamble night before Frostfall. And then we came into Dreadmere's Door, which is this sort of, this lair hewn in solid ice. And it was an absolute blast. Just my players hadn't been together for a couple of months, so they're all really excited to be back together. So they're really working as a team, having a great time. A lot of love in that room, and that is the stuff upon which good D&D is made, as you all know all too well. Okay, so I got mystical hovering rotating room here so that you guys can see a little more of the room. Now, the night that we played, one of the big successes that I hadn't done really before is I did Fog of War. So I only had like this little piece built, and then I just had my pieces over on the side, and as they revealed them through the doors, I just threw the pieces on the board. Now that is only possible if you've got a really simple setup. If you've got like all this fancy little cool stuff going on, it's still definitely cool, but it can be difficult and cumbersome and slow to do Fog of War, and I don't like slow things, you know me. I have no patience. So, on that note, let's just jump into it. I'm the DM. You guys are the awesome, lumpy-headed, crazy fools. So, welcome back. Thanks for making time to hang out tonight. Yeah, I mean, this is it. This is Dreadmere's Door. So, how do you use the encounter? What is this shit? What is happening, hankering you out your mind? Can't argue with you there. Stone cold going bonkers. All right, this could be used as a one-off, I suppose, but there is a bit of a preamble which I'm not showing you, and that is getting here. So if you did a one-off, it would be a pretty big night. I would jump right to the lair if you did it as a one-nighter, because just doing this lair for my players was about 3 hours, and we played pretty damn fast. But, they're played with a lot of detail. The last boss is a pretty big bullet sponge and can be difficult. A lot of people were dropping. That can be time-consuming. So one-off, I don't know. I think the whole experience of Frostfall and Dreadmere's Door is more like 2 nights, depending on your group, of course. If you're playing 3 in the afternoon till midnight, shit, you can do anything, man. And those are fun days. Okay, so what comes before this? Anytime you do an ice adventure, make sure that you start with the number one rule of adventuring in the Winter Wonderland, or the Hinterlands, or Frostfall, or whatever you call it, the remote north, the frozen wastes. It's this right here. Travel for freaking ages. I mean, this is my high-tech news graphics system right here. This is some Anchorman shit. Travel for ages, okay? The frozen wasteland is never around the corner like forests are, or like castles are, or common dungeons, or spider nests in the jungle. The frozen wasteland is always super far away, and you've got to find a way to make sure that your players perceive that it's far away. Now, you don't want them to sit there for an hour while you just kind of go, no, you're still traveling. Still traveling. Still traveling. No, that's not cool. That doesn't perceive, it doesn't give the sense of distance. So what you want to do is give them a super simple supply and danger mechanic. Don't do random encounters. Don't burden them with trying to get there and getting all ambushed and interfered with and visions in the night and shit. No, fuck that. You want to get to the good stuff. So how do you travel really far and make them feel the travel? Well, first of all, you say it's going to take 1d6 weeks. 1d6 weeks to get there. Boom. You roll it. If they get low, great. Then ding them once for supplies. Go around the table. Do they actually have supplies written on their character sheet? Does anyone actually have jerky written down? Or rations, or a tent, or anything useful? If they do, cut them some slack for 1 week. The following week, unless they have lots of supplies, they're out. And then damage them with hunger, or in this case, cold. And then again for the following week. And they don't get free supplies out of the nowhere. Now, if you have a druid or a ranger, maybe they could scare up like a rabbit, and they could reduce the next damage roll from hunger and from journeying. But by the time they get to this place, it's just okay? So that's the travel for ages concept. It's not take up actual time. It's basically just make them a little bit scared of going so far out into the woods. They realize that when they come back, they better have some supplies. So they get this feeling of this is serious. This is a journey. We're on the antipodes of mankind's realm. Okay, so that's part one. They journey a long way. So in my case, I have a vampire in my group. So he had a ton of sunlight damage, and then they took steps against that. But walking at night in the snow was super cold, so they amped the cold damage. Anyways, I just beat them up a little bit before they even show up at the damn place. Now, this isn't necessarily different, but this is how the set of encounters really needs to begin. If you want Dreadmere's Door to be exciting, which you do, then you need to have your characters worn down when they come in. And I mean worn down, not tired or just low on hit points. They need to be tactically worn down. They need to be low on spells, low on ammo, low on hit points, low on heals. Maybe a few items have frozen or been lost, right? They got to get low. So how do you do that? Well, in my case, I wore them down with 3 things. And you guys are going to laugh because of how evil this is, but this is what they had to get through at the entrance to Dreadmere's Door, which is this sort of chamber in solid ice, right? We had a remoraz, which is a huge, hot-to-the-touch worm that burrows through ice that can swallow you whole and it's freaking crazy, has about 100 million hit points, and 2 frost giants. Frost giants are really boring enemies, but damn are they dangerous. And players love them because it's a shitload of XP. and they're really easy to run as a DM. So as these guys just closed in on the entrance to Dreadmere's door, he had the 2 frost giant guards, and like about a half mile outside of that, there was a remoras like prowling under the ice because, people are drawn to this place. Why are they drawn to this place, you ask? Well, that's where I needed to transition from travel mode to finding Dreadmere's door. Now remember, this is the frozen waste, man. You don't just like, oh look, there it is over there. No, it doesn't work that way. You need some way to find it. So they wandered the wastes for like 3 weeks. And then finally, late at night, they heard this song. That kind of thing. It's basically the canoe song from Dark Crystal. This was Kela. And Kela is my little, hello, I'm an NPC right here. She is the daughter of Dreadmere. Now, I got this whole idea from the original Conan story, The Frost Giant's Daughter. So there it is. Go read the story. You'll see where I got all the inspiration to make this happen. And right down to the 2 frost giants, the whole deal. So she is the daughter of Dreadmere, the Frost Giant. And she is looking for travelers out on the ice because she's really worried about her dad. Her dad is going crazy and becoming evil. He didn't used to be evil. Not all frost giants have to be evil. Some of them are like Thor worshippers. They're like noble warriors. But her father's going nuts because this portal. He's always talking about this stupid portal and summoning the worm, and the time will come, the prophecy, Shatterstar, the Spelljammers, we will shatter the world, blah, 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 blah. Right? So, through whatever role-playing means you need to employ, Kela meets the players. I don't think she really befriends them per se, but she definitely sort of is not a threatening presence. And she brings them to the door, and she says, I'm not sure how much further I can go on this because he's in there, he's like kind of crazy and he like kind of attacks people. So you guys seem like you're pretty capable. Maybe you can get it done. All right. So you can role play her however is going to work, but definitely do the creepy song. And actually in my group, the vampire character, when no one was looking, pulled her aside and drank her dry right before the combat. It was crazy. Shit gets weird in D&D sometimes, but hey, it just happened. Okay. So that's Kela. She has performed her role by getting the players into the building, the chamber, the lair. And as they do so, Dreadmere, who is this, I'm using this frost troll. So it's about the size of a frost giant, but much more crazy, evil looking with a bear pelt and stuff. He's sitting on this ice throne, and he welcomes them and closes the ice doors so the howling wind will be quiet. And then do some role play right here. Dreadmere is not necessarily just set on killing them, but he definitely wants to sacrifice them to the portal. So, understanding Dreadmere. Oh, here we are. I got a card for this guy. Here's Dreadmere, the mad frost giant, driven mad by the portal. God damn, this is high tech. I mean, I've seen some high tech stuff. So he isn't necessarily just bent on killing them right away, but they're his victims. I mean, he wants to use them in this twisted scheme he has to bring about the next generation of the world or some shit, to summon the ice worm and bring about the age of frost giants or something like that. So he could negotiate with the players a little bit, but if your players are anything like my players, they will not like the look of this guy and the tone he takes, and it's going to come to fisticuffs. And when it does, I just made this a frost giant crossed with like a 3rd level wizard who uses ice spells like Cone of Cold, Hold Person, simple stuff. And that was it. Then they fight him. This is a great fight, by the way. This is when you get to introduce some of the mechanics of your room. First of all, you got your DC 18 room. Why is that important, Hangry? We always know to use 1 room DC because it makes life awesome for players and DM. 18 is a pretty damn high number even for a 7th level character. The reason you want this to be 18 or even higher if you like things harder is that the checks in this room are half the fun. As you can see right over here, I don't know if you can see it, I have a very small cast of characters and props that make the whole room work. It's just like 5 or 6 little doodads right here, right? So I'm not going to be hurling spawners, crazy amounts of monsters, lots of big monsters, anything like that. The checks are the key. And what I mean by that is like, are you freezing cold? Are you slippering and sliding into the crack? Are you bumping into the walls, which will become important later? Do you have the constitution to resist the cold when you touch metal? So on and so forth. So making checks against 18 is difficult, and it's gonna force your characters into being afraid of the environment. And the environment, just because of the way that I designed it, is a lot of the fun in this one. So I wanted it to be tough, I wanted it to be intimidating, and I wanted to make people think twice about just doing stuff. Like I run across the room, so very quickly players will learn to move a half move so that they don't have the slide at the end of their move. And just make a double move impossible on the ice. Stuff like that. So they fight Dreadmere. Sure, they kill him. Why not? Just make life easy, okay? So they kill him. They loot him, and he just has a diamond. He has this blue diamond. So we had it somewhere. I don't know what the hell we did with it, but we had a big plastic diamond, and it's just like, whoa, what's this? That's it. Your players will not figure out what it is. It's something like they've never seen before, some kind of ice jewel. All right, I'm sure you can see where this is going. So they loot him. On goes the adventure. But as he falls, as he breathes his last frosty breath, a great tremor passes through Dreadmere's door. Oh, I've been through some tremors before, but this is a great one. This is a great tremor, It's really robust. So a tremor passes through the ice cave. And at that moment, yes, it's dreaded, it's returned. The crack. Giant crack opens up in the floor. So you have a huge ice crevasse going way down into the black. And I took a little bit of extra time with the players to describe how far down it went. Like it went from white ice down into that deep blue translucent ice and then all the way back, all the way down into echoing blackness. Just like bottomless pit, y'all. That would have been the TLDR, but I didn't say bottomless pit. I said the aforementioned description. So the crack is back. It is very slowly calving inwards, so chunks of ice are falling into the crack, so it's getting slightly larger over time. Also, once the tremor happens, roll your 1d4. Players don't know what it is, but it's going to be terrible. They start moving over. They know the time is clicking now. This door is closed. It's on. And with my players, man, they just go for it. They start trying all kinds of shit. When your 1d4 counts down, do a 1d6 random location around your players. You guys know how to do that, right? Like 1 is here, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Real simple in an area like that. And wherever that counts down, a giant chunk of ice falls from the ceiling. If it hits a player, give them a dex save against the 18. I'm pointing at nothing. To dodge it. Otherwise, do something like 3d6 to 5d6, depending on how much you want to beat them down. But write it down so you don't make it up on the spot. And basically, boom! Oh, man, bad news. Right then, the room gets this imminence. And you guys know all about how I use timers and room threat to keep people moving and to keep them afraid. And this one works great. It's basically every 1d4 turns, a giant chunk of ice falls. You have a chance to dodge it if it's like on top of you. Otherwise, mega damage. Very simple. Just move along, move along, move along. So if you want to get the summary on the room, timer, treat, and threat, right? The timer is the falling rocks. No doubt about it. They're going to fall through the entire encounter set. The treat is the pillar of lightning right here, which we haven't gotten to. And the threat is obviously the ice worm, and we have some wraiths to deal with coming up soon. Okay, great. So you've got the ice jewel. The crack has opened. Time is folding inward. And then, ooh, they notice there's a doorway here. Really quickly, and I wouldn't put this on a map because it just encourages detailed thinking, mention that there's a living space here. And this is where Dreadmere and his daughter have like ice beds, which sounds absolutely horrible. And then there's a sort of a workbench where Dreadmere works on his armor and has a couple of books. Be great to use one of these books later to contain a couple of spells you can roll on a loot table. I would also consider like a Frost Giant lore book if you have a wizard who collects lore. And that the way that we usually play lore books is if you find a monster lore book, you can use that page of the monster manual if you encounter that monster. So you just look right at the frickin' rules. Yeah, so that's what's in there, but also 3 keys on a ring. Now, it's important to note that there are 3 keys, but they're indistinguishable, at least to the untrained eye. So, whoa, I think the players are probably putting it all together at this point. They have to get through because there's no other way out, and it's probably going to involve using the keys. Okay, so once again, I don't really believe in mysteries and surprises and puzzles that require Sherlock Holmesing your way through the room. I don't mind that it's pretty obvious that there's going to be keys and you're probably going to have to guess which one to use, and if you guess wrong, it's probably going to be bad, and then the jewel is going to maybe save the day, or maybe it's going to be some kind of booby trap. I'm fine that all that data just comes built in because of, stereotypes of D&D. That's fine with me. It's the doing that's fun, not the big reveals. So great. They get the keys. They come out. Oh my God. They make all these crazy dex checks, and there are ropes involved and people jumping off people's shoulders and trying to make a man bridge and all kinds of silly stuff. Then boom, another chunk of ice, so on and so forth. Then we come on over to what we call the diamond door. So your players come across the crack and they approach this first door. The door is frozen solid, and if a player grabs the metal handle, he is stuck to it. If he makes a con save, he doesn't take any cold damage from it but his skin of his hand is stuck to the thing. If you can find a way to heat the hand, you can get the release. If you pull the hand off, you take 1d6 to 1d8 damage because you pull the skin off your hand. Oh, God, it's just fucking horrible. If you have a ranger or a sword user, I would penalize any subsequent attack rolls because they have a skinless hand. So either get your healer to fix that up or whatever, but just grabbing this doorknob is trouble. But that is just the beginning. Now we get into... Okay, oh, whoops, I got too excited. Ice chunks falling. Now we get into news graphics. Lightning pillar. Oh. What is this pillar? So if they notice this and they ask, you say, oh, well, this is a little different than just the average chunky ice ruin. This has been intentionally put here. This is well hewn. And there's a detail on the pillar. Now, naturally, you're going to have some kind of perception checks. Great, beat an 8, blah, 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 whatever. But you want them to know this factoid. The pillar is all solid ice, except right in the center, there's a section cut away. And inside, the whole core is made of either silver or steel or some shiny alloy right down the middle of the pillar. Just like, what? And there's a gap that's actually big enough where you, if you wanted, you could reach in and touch the metallic core of this pillar. It's like, what the hell's this thing? I'll tell you what it is. It's a lightning pillar. It's a Tesla machine. So, there are 2 problems with the doorknobs in this place. 1, if you touch it, you stick to it, right? It's pretty inert, though, not too scary. If you put the wrong key into the keyhole, a bolt of lightning will arc from the lightning pillar to as many doorknobs as it can reach before hitting a closed door. Now, take a second to process the beauty of what this means. A closed door will stop the lightning bolt from arcing to the next doorknob, right? An open door will allow the lightning to jump from doorknob to doorknob. If your hand is stuck to the doorknob and you put the wrong key in, you're in a very bad situation. Here's why. If you're zapped by the lightning, and you're kind of blown back, 2d6. For each subsequent round that you are blasted by the lightning, it doubles. So if you can get a player stuck to the doorknob and unable to, say, make a strength check to rip their hand off, for 3 rounds, they're already taking 8d6. But that isn't why the doubling damage mechanic is there. It's there as the treat. And now you got to wait for the prestige to see why. Okay, so your players are going to do some trial and error. They're probably going to get fucked up and damaged. The rocks are still falling. While they're doing all, they finally get this door unlocked and opened. Maybe they use a stick. Maybe somebody got their hands messed up. Somebody got their tongue on there. Whatever. They come into the next room. They're in this chamber right here, which has no monsters in it. Nothing really interesting in here. Rocks are still falling. As they enter this chamber, they hear this mighty... Now you guys have seen I've done this mechanic in another room, the Shattered Stairs. Same kind of stuff. So they're coming around this corner, they hear this, but they're currently, it's not a problem. They're not being exposed to whatever force is making that horrible noise. Now they need to figure out how to get the second door open. They have a pretty much 50-50 chance of guessing which key. They know not to touch the metal, all that good stuff. They put the wrong key in and left this door open. Key side note, the arc will go through and arc to this doorknob. If they closed this door, they'll hear the lightning when they put the wrong key in, arcing over here. So they can use a closed door to protect them from their key guessing process. But they're really going to want to open these doors, and here's why. So they get these open, right? Sure, whatever. Upon entering this room, rocks are still falling, and this is a very tight little room, as you can see here on the Lazy Susan. This is a really tight room. For players to enter here is pretty dang tight, especially if it's 5 of them. This is where an inspection on the walls reveals translucent ice walls, and frozen into the ice are the ghostly form of these wraith kings of men. And if you get any players within 1 square of the wall, you will thaw one of the wraiths, and they will thaw in 1d4 rounds, so it's another danger timer. Wraiths are terrible. Look them up in the monster manual. Oh my god, life drain. What the hell's going on? So I only have 3 wraiths planned right here because 3 is plenty to try to deal with. And they're incorporeal. You need magic weapons. Like, it's a mess trying to deal with these things. Turn undead can be very handy here. So you got this room full of wraiths. Oh my god, what are we going to do? Who cares? Move on, right? Your players will figure something out. Die trying, whatever. Finally, they come to the third door. They should know which key to use by now, so they can open the door without much hazard. They can use a hooked stick to work the doorknob. As they do so, the icy wind comes blasting down these stairs beyond the door. Oh, 3 keys, sticky knobs. By the way, you should seriously consider having an NPC in your group called Sticky Knobs. Breath of Ice. If you fail a constitution check while you're in the breath of ice, whoever fails it the worst gets the dreaded freeze cube put on them. The freeze cube will release in 1d4 rounds naturally or can be shattered out of with another con check. But you can make the con check every turn if you want, or it will just naturally crumble after 4 rounds. So it's a crippling status effect for a player, but it will wear off. It's not a super troll. Now remember, as your battle proceeds, the breath of ice continues constantly. So every other round, it breathes out, save, freeze cube. Don't freeze everybody in the group though. Only the worst failing con save gets the freeze cube. This is gnarly. So now we come to the pièce de la résistance, which I don't really know what that means. I think it's a reference to Rage Against the Machine. As they approach this stairway and this freezing mist is descending, they see this doorway, this portal now. Everybody who crafts for D&D loves making portals. So make a blue, black between the stars, super cosmic Cthulhu portal, and it's right here. And from this portal emerges the Frostworm. Frostworm is a Pathfinder monster. You will not find this monster in the D&D monster manual. It's so sad I quit. I guess I can't make my adventure now. No, you don't think that way because you're a badass. Step 1, look up the Frostworm in Pathfinder. How hard is that? Not very. Internet, baby. Woo! Next, figure out a way to hybridize it over to D&D 5th edition. I basically took a few of the stats from Pathfinder, made them a little crazier, and then used an abominable Yeti from the D&D 5th edition monster manual, which is a hell of a monster. It has freezing breath. It has terrifying gaze. It's got some super strong attacks. This baby is awesome. So I made my own Frostworm, balanced it out for my 7th level characters, and it's on. So this thing emerges, they start fighting it. It is way beyond them for the most part, and now it's time for my wizard or whoever in the group has the wits to figure out the lightning pillar. Director, could you hoist away the news graphics device, please? That is technology. That's some 11th century technology right there. Pulley and rope, my friends. Pulley and rope. Okay. What's the treat? How do I use the lightning pillar? What the hell are you talking about, Hank and Fernail? Okay, so the 3 doors, remember, when the wrong key is put into a doorknob, the lightning will arc to as many doorknobs as are open. For every turn in the lightning, the damage doubles. So Milo in my group put together all the signs here and realized if we can get him in the lightning and keep him in the lightning, we're going to be at like 36d6 in a few turns. So sure enough, they proceeded to do that. They come up the stairs. They yell at the worm like, you're not even a freaking snake, much less a worm. My grandma's got weirder looking mouth parts than you. So they lure this thing down. It comes near this final doorway here. And then in a brilliant moment of teamwork, our rogue, who has a magic bow, fires web arrow, totally gets this thing, and it fails its strength save like 3 times in a row. And it's webbed right here in this doorway. All tangled up in the doorway. Mouth parts. And then Milo goes back to the doorway, and with I don't know if he used like a cantrip levitation or had a stick. They're kind of the same thing, really. Took the wrong key, shoved it in the doorknob here, and the lightning arcs all the way through and zaps the shit out of the worm. Now the fight's not over because that's just 2d6. So now they got to keep fighting this thing. They got to hold it. It's got to fail its strength check, which it did. The lightning damage doubles again, and doubled a 4th time. So it got to 16d6. And that's a hell of a damage roll. This thing had almost 300 hit points. Was doing 8d8, I think, on some of its attacks. Thing's crazy. They managed to take it down, and as the whole place begins crumbling, they run up to the portal, and nothing fucking happens. They can't go through the portal. It's just like glass. No! And then, accelerate the falling rocks. There's tons more falling rocks. This whole place is collapsing. The magic of the Frostworm was holding it all intact. So they're right up here. And then Bootmeyer in our Duragar reveals the ice jewel, holds it up to the portal, and sure enough, it's a key jewel, and the portal it becomes active, goes all Stargate, and they're sucked into the wormhole to emerge out on the ice plains near Port Frost, which is a town on the edge of Frostfall, the continent. And they were safe. And that is Dreadmere's door. So a board of about 5 rooms, separate rooms, 4 doors, only 5 total creatures, and the rest is all checks and trying to figure it out. That's the whole thing. So if you want to use the content of the room design, you don't really need to do ice per se. You could just rip off the lightning doorknob mechanic, or you could just rip off the crack and falling rocks mechanic. Or you could just do an ice room without all this complexity and just work more on slippery, slidey, and falling and kind of combat getting difficult. Even that could be interesting. You can stretch it out as much as you want. Falling rocks are great. Definitely one of the best treats to really get a fun reaction from a player is to put them in the freeze cube. Highly recommend a freeze. This is just a Chessex dice case with some really bad glue and blue paint on it. So here's your mini, and then you just whoop, there you go. You froze, man. You straight froze. Just like when you put the gelatinous cube on a character, it's always so funny, and you can see him in there and everything. So that's the whole thing. Really easy to build. Just a board and maybe 10 pieces. So no problem. You can do that with your group and be awesome. That's the whole thing. So like, whoa. Whew, man, I always just have to blaze through those. And by the time I'm done, I'm just like, whoa, what just happened? So I know it sounded, very whirlwind, but at my table, that was a whole night of gaming. So you guys also see just a lot of the same classic principles in play here. Like prep this way, think this way. This is a really easy way to summarize everything that I want to do with the night. These are just big concepts. Now, elsewhere I can have little notes about the exact numbers. I mean, I better. Otherwise, you're going to be making a lot of stuff up. But it's not like you need these massive volumes of stuff. Now, that said, there is one clutch MVP piece here, and I've never said it on the channel before, but it's time for me to come out of the shadows with this, is the 5th edition Monster Manual, I've decided, is probably my favorite RPG book of all time. I think it is the most well-made, well-organized, well-balanced, and easy to modify and work with and use in play. Actually use at the table with the page you want opened and use it on the players. It's that clear and that simple and that detailed, and it's just kick-ass. So I know I talk shit about WotC all the time. Everybody wants to troll the leader, right? But I gotta say, after playing with it, it's been a year and a half now, playing with the 5th edition Monster Manual, it's absolutely an impeccable book. Especially if you just want to do like the classic D&D monsters like Displacer Beasts and Tiamat and Frost Giants and I don't know, Umber Hulks. Just working through those classics that players really want to see and encounter and tell their friends that if they have friends, Sorry, that was evil. If only I had friends, I would tell them that I defeated a gelatinous cube last night. Well, I guess I'll keep talking to this tree then. Hey! Hey! Oh! I don't know why that's happening. I think it's from Woodstock, actually. But I was just like, here's this thing. So sometime. Okay, that is it, man. That is it. That is Dreadmere's Door, the room design setup, and I hope that content is useful to you guys. More so that the principles involved in designing the simplicity of what pushes the play, what gets people all fired up and panicky. It is not complexity. It's not zillions of monsters. It's not baffling puzzles. And it's not burdensome role-playing. It's just simple, like there's a danger zone, there's green shit, don't stand in it. Move over there and push the blue button. Or wait, were you supposed to push the red button? I can't remember. And therein lies all of the oportunidad de ganar. So that's all I got. So it's that time of the night when I look over at the laptop here like a confused Luddite. Well, it's not like one. I am one of those. My computer does not like me rendering and watching this at the same time. Your computer just doesn't like you. I mean, computers don't feel affection. They only feel slowness. Had to go easy on the liquors tonight, guys. It was a very big weekend. That's all I can say. And I'm still trying to train for Ren Fair, so there has to be some sense of discipline. There is a fun video coming up where I'm prepping my armor. I finally got the final missing piece of my armor, the tassets, the waist armor. So I need to age that up. I need to paint the family crest on there and make sure the armor is fully ready for this year. It's going to be a big year. I've almost doubled the weight of the whole suit, so that's going to be fun. Los dados. Oportunidad de ganar. Dados. That has become a curse in our home. We've been singing it nonstop for like 2 weeks now. It is a dreadful way to live life. Los dados. Oportunidad de ganar. Nick the Rat, what you say? I'm just drinking red wine, man. This is some some basic stuff here. So that's about it. I'm not sure what's up next. I might space out the videos a little bit. Honestly, getting a little worn out, and I want to make sure that I keep up with my group. It seems like we're going to regain our momentum. So we had about a 2.5 month break there, and I think our momentum has returned with a vengeance. And we've kind of reached that point in the campaign where I do not have a lot of good planning beyond the next step. The next step is we've got, I don't know if you guys know about Thunderhome and the Forgotten Realms, but we've taken that mountain and it is actually broken off of the earth of Toril and is floating up into the sky. And you've got Argloasa, the ancient dragon, in there, and the undead dwarves and the lizard worshippers and all their shit. And it's all in this floating mountain, so they're going to take their Spelljammer up there. And it's going to be epic. So I got to figure all that out. Yeah, honestly, too, it's just been, what a wild ride doing all this YouTube crap. I mean, I just started, like, this was just a little over a year ago. I've never done this before at all. I have no idea what I'm doing. And kind of jumped right in and got way over my head. So I'm going to make sure I pace myself, keep my creative battery nice and charged, so that when it strikes me to go crazy again, I can keep bringing you guys the heat. The heat. Because heat is cool. The mic looks like Tony the Tiger's testicle. Well, then, dang, Tony is hung like a Caravaggio. Don't get overworked. Keep having fun. It's always great. Thanks, man. I really appreciate that. It's often easy to just get wrapped up in all the fun. There's still a lot of you guys don't see it, but there's a ton of side conversations and private messages and messages on Facebook that are just, there's a ton of stuff going on and questions and conversations with a lot of people. And I think that's really the meat of the relationship. Now that you guys are pretty familiar with how I do my game, I've been learning more about how everyone else is doing their game and where they meet in the middle, and it's awesome. This hobby never ceases to morph and change and evolve, even over years and years and years. It's fantastic. Yes, Demon Jester J, I have the logo you made for me. It was really low res and kind of internety, so I've been cleaning it up, and there will be a t-shirt of that on the Runehammer Amazon site. I also wanted to not use, I think your beer mug was maybe clip art and your ampersand was the actual ampersand from WotC, and I can't stomach using each of those things as they are, so I have to redraw all that stuff. So working on that, but it'd make a funny t-shirt. We'll see if it turns out as cool as it should be. But thanks a lot for sending that. King James, Critical Role. Yes, I do watch it now and again, but honestly, I don't know. There's something about it. It just doesn't seem, it seems very performed. I'm sure it's awesome. I'm sure they're all having a blast. But I don't know. I'm much more interested in interacting with the community about their games and how to improve and ideas and content, rather than watch sort of celebrity people kind of try to make the game or the hobby look good, or I'm not sure exactly what the angle is on all that, but it hasn't kept my interest, I guess. I've shown up a few times and watched, but it just hasn't kept my interest, so sorry about that. Nick the Rat, Mokhtar update. There's no verb in that statement. Hang on, how much do you spend crafting? That's a good question. Last year I crafted like crazy. I did a ton of stuff. But I set myself up to where I can run most of the games now without making much stuff. I mean, I just did the boats and that was fun, but I'm sitting pretty. I've got forests covered. I've got everything stone covered. I've got a lot of wood covered for, taverns and other buildings, and now I've got ice covered. So I'm sitting pretty as far as terrain. It took me a good, solid, hard year of crafting a lot every week to get all those parts and pieces set up, including the rolling boxes and everything. So less now, but last year I just was like on fire. I don't know what happened last year. It was a crazy year. Just really went after it, which is just, again, one of the joys of the hobby is like sometimes it just goes a little cold on you and you chill out, and other times, man, you're just freaking inspired. So when you are, just go after it. But my recommendation is just do it your own way. Just go for it. There's plenty of resources on how to do things online, but I think it's a lot more fun to bumble around and discover your own style and just kind of experiment. Yeah, I do do the 2.6 tiles, which I only called it that to troll Scotty. They're 2.5 tiles that are reversible. That's all they are. But we do use them all the time. They're great. Having flippable stone and wood is great, and they match the rest of my junk. They match my junk. Good Lord. Yeah, thanks, Joe Dio78. I appreciate those kind words, man. And this is also where I kind of tried to bring it in to the 3x5 card method, and it's just like sometimes you want to make a bunch of crazy shit. Other times you want to just do something quick before the game assembles. And, it's important that this does not become a job. It takes a lot of the life out of it, and that would suck. So sometimes mega effort, sometimes slacker DM, whatever. It's all good. You're here for fun, not to prove something. So let it be what it's going to be. Oh yeah, the isometric stuff, which is such an odd name because is it actually isometric? I think isn't isometric a camera angle like with like a zero width lens or a 90-degree lens or something? I don't know. Been making video games 20 years. I still don't know what isometric means. Going to put my group against a dragon for the first time. Got any cool dragon stories? Chris Marshall. Definitely got a good video out there about playing your dragon. Give that a watch. Let me know what you think. But man, when you're playing a dragon, just be ruthless, ruthless, ruthless. Don't let players go up against a dragon and it's not like the scariest thing they've ever done. They should be terrified. And warn them. Have some NPCs that openly warn them that they're crazy, and then have a couple NPCs you throw in there just to get devoured and stuff like that. Like gravity, baby. Gravity. Do any more clay work lately from Nick? Not really. Nope. Ever since I made Salag, I've been chilling out. I do have a black dragon encounter coming up though, and I think I'm just gonna make my own black dragon because this is like $80 for the colossal black dragon. That's a little much for me, just for a plastic thing that doesn't even move. So I think I'll just make my own Sculpey dragon with a wire armature and paint it myself. So we'll get around to that. That should be in the next few weeks. You ever tried chicha? ¿Quién es Chicha? Lorenzo Lamas y Ricardo Montalban. Hankering, glad I can finally catch stream videos, inspire me, and I'm building sick props, not stick props. Narcotic, that's awesome, dude. Welcome, good luck, get her done. Post pics on my Facebook, on the Drunkens and Dragons Facebook. I love when people put the pics up of their game on there. It just keeps the circle of life going. It's so cool learning to make video games. I'm in animation school right now and making it. Hey, yeah, man, King James, get it done. Just remember, if you want to be good at hard things, you got to do them badly for years, and you will eventually get good. So just hang in there and just keep doing it, no matter what people tell you. Just keep doing it. 'Tis a fermented corn drink. Fermented corn sounds fantastic. Is that crazy Peruvian stuff? I've got some maps coming your way. That sounds fantastic. Glad to hear you got a group for Jackson. That's great. It's always hard when there's just no group and you got all the enthusiasm and no group. So, congrats on that. Oh, and hey, there was supposed to be a Mokhtar update. You gotta roll los dados. If you want an oportunidad de ganar, you gotta roll los dados. Mokhtar, we are in the deep cone of meditation, me and Cyrus. And I think very good things are happening, but we are very patiently letting the smarts roll over us. Again, no hastily slapping content together so we can make another Kickstarter. That is not our approach. The idea is something meaningful. So Mokhtar is going to take time. We had a few great sessions and a few not so great sessions, so it should be great. I think we are also going to try some mouse guard here pretty soon. That's going to be killer. I love how you're having fun on YouTube. Too many serious... Well, hey, man, when you're not making any money, you might as well just enjoy it, right? This is a funny thing, too, is like I took, 2 weeks here where I just kind of chilled. I didn't really put stuff up. And the revenues just dipped. I mean, not like I get any revenue anyway. I think total for the entire Drunkens and Dragons thing, I've made just under $500, and I haven't even gotten it yet because I haven't had a month that goes above 100. So until you do that, you don't even get the money. It just sits in some kind of freakish Swiss escrow account that's gaining interest for Microsoft or something. I have no idea. Do mouse guard videos. Yeah, right. I have no idea how to play mouse guard. Cyrus is going to DM. I'm just going to be some tool who's has a hook on a rope that wants to like jump on a wagon. That's basically probably all that's going to happen. Can't stay. Get out. Later, Jeffrey Hart. I'm about done too, you guys. That was the hour. And main thing was I just wanted you guys to see this room. Put a lot of work into getting a really fun, dense experience that was figure-outable, that was exciting, and that used ice and everything. And it really worked out. So also, if you guys didn't watch my Saturday morning stream, I don't usually plug my own videos, but you totally should. I just on a whim, I went ahead and went through my second DMs book in HD, and it's in focus, real close to the camera. So I know that my earlier DMs book video got a lot of comments and likes and stuff because people like to see other DMs struggling through all the same problems. So give that a look. It's like the second half of the video. Definitely worth watching if you're into the sort of DMs journal kind of style. Which I really believe in. I think whiskey is fermented corn. I think whiskey is fermented corn. Whiskey is fermented various things. That's probably a good sign that I'm freaking done. I think I'm pooped out. I've been getting up so damn early in the morning, which is awesome, by the way. And that has led to much good writing. But it does not lead to good staying up and drinking. So, hey, trade-offs and to all things a season correct, my friends. All right, I'm going to sign off. Thank you guys for showing up. What do we have? We got 51 lumpy-headed crazy people up in here. That's awesome. Thank you guys for coming. Great hanging out. And there's only one thing left to say. How do I normally do this where we I don't even know how to alt tab anymore, but it's something like hey, hey.